Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsyreplays. Welcome back to the channel. Now, over the last few weeks, we've been looking at tanks where I think you should sell, been looking at tanks where I think you should keep, etc, etc. But today and over the next few days, what we're going to look at is just in general my favorite tanks, my favorite tank destroyers, my favorite mediums, light tanks, heavies, just in my favorite in the game. And it's not just going to stick to tier 10. We have had a look at the all tiers and I've come to my final 5. So in no particular order. These are not like this is my 5th favorite. These are just in no particular order. But the first tank, the Elephant. Now, I absolutely love the Elephant. I think it is a fantastic tank. The armor is great. The DPM is great. I think, you know, the alpha, the penetration, I think everything about the tank is actually pretty good. Of course, the speed isn't the best, but look at this. The reload is honestly fantastic. The armor profile, you're not going to bounce everything, but you can bounce most things that come your way. Of course, when there is a Triger 2 sitting in front of you, just staring at you, aiming at your weak point, of course, you're not going to bounce that, but you could pump up damage very, very quickly in this tank. Next up, we've gone for the Waffen Triger, basically the waffle, and this is probably one of my favorite tank destroyers, like, period, forever. I think it is, honestly, it is so good. I don't know why, you know, I don't even know why. It's a difficult tank to play, very, very difficult tank to play. Of course, it has no armor. You have to to get your gun depression, you have to sort of reverse up like we are now. You can't go forward and get your gun down. So it's a very, very difficult tank to play. But when you can put it in a position where it is really, really good, then honestly, the tank is so good. It really is. Now, of course, you do have the Ritter, also tier 9, but I prefer this because at least you can change the gun. The Ritter only has the one gun, has the DPM gun, where if you really wanted to, you could put the Ritter gun on this. But personally, I do like it with the big gun. If you can get out the HE, it really does help as well, sort of over 1,000 damage. Unfortunately, we didn't, it didn't pay off on that Leopard 1, but we still done 400 damage, and that was just splash. Of course, we would like to have done a little bit more against that guy, and even again there, like, we do a few hundred damage, so we do miss out on a few hundred damage there because we tried to go for the HE and just it didn't pay off, unfortunately. But you know, still 2.5k damage, and I think we end the game with a lot more than that. Next up, it's the tier 10 version, the Grill. Now again, I love this tank. I absolutely love this tank. Not everybody loves the Grill, but I love this tank. Now, when I was streaming, I was always known as the blind shot king. Yes, the blind shot king, and I'm putting that into action today because the first shot we've just had, I don't actually think did anything, but we're thinking, you know what, we've got no targets, our DPM isn't that bad, the reload isn't that bad, and while I've got no targets, the enemy have 2 tank destroyers, let's go for that position. And that shot did actually hit, and we're going to show you at the end of the game actually. So if we would have switched to HE and actually gone for the HE, then we might have actually done more damage. So we have 3 blind shots, and to be fair, 2 of them hit. 2 blind shots hit that tank that is hiding in that corner. Now, of course, the tank, if you're spotted, you need to get the hell out of there. I'm spotted here, and I just get obliterated. Now, luckily, I do survive to live. I do live, sorry. To tell the tale. That's what I was supposed to say. I live to tell the tale. And you know, we're just going to do a bit more damage. And as you can see there, 1100, but I've actually done 2,400 damage. So you can see I've actually had a couple of shots that hit. And, you know, we're just going to play it a little bit patient. So, again, we do get shot, so we do have to be very careful. And this match in total, to be fair, it's very annoying because none of our... I mean, we've only got 1 heavy, so we couldn't really push the hill. None of our mediums have gone to the castle. It's a very difficult game, and we're all playing around this section of the map. But, honestly, I love the Grill. I think it is absolutely a fantastic tank when played correct. The fact that you can sit at the back of the map and later on just get into the game by using your speed. Or, I mean, there's the grill there, look, 479 damage or hit points left, which means we've taken his entire hit points from 3 shots. 2 of them were blind shots. Next up, this is another tank, the Mino Toro. Again, I think this tank has everything. It has everything. Now, the one thing you do have to be careful with this is not to fire that last shell unless you absolutely have to. Unless you want to wait 21.7 seconds just for 1 shell, then you need you need to keep that 3rd shell. And it is annoying, like here, I've got targets to hit, but I really do not want to shoot that last shell until I have at least another shell reloaded. Even though it has the reserve shell, we've gone for it there just to get a bit more damage, and that pumps our damage already up to 3k. Yes, we are now hiding because we've got a mega long reload, but honestly, this tank, it's got armor, it hasn't got speed, but you know, the gun, you can really pump up that damage. Even though you do have the reserve shell, you can pump up that damage very, very quickly, and sometimes you don't realize just how much damage you've actually done. Again, the only frustrating thing with the tank is when you shoot 2 shells, it's just trying to wait, like here, like just trying to wait. And even here, we've got 1 shell left. We're going to ignore the Death Star because there is, I think, an M60 coming behind him, so he should take him out nice and easy. And at least then by the time I get to this Type 71, I've got at least 2 shells loaded. So that's 3.2k damage, 1 shot into there, nice alpha as well, another shot into, I mean, 613. That is now 4.3k damage. Moving along, it is one of my favorite tanks in the entire game, the XM 66F. Again, this has everything. It has speed for what it is. I think it is a pretty nifty tank. It has armor, it has DPM, it's got just about everything, and I think this tank is OP when played correctly. If of course you play it wrong, then it's not going to feel OP, but it's great for these kind of positions. People do struggle to penetrate you, and honestly, because your DPM is so crazy, you can really pump up that damage very, very quickly. I love it. Honestly, I really do love the XM. I think it is absolutely fantastic tank. That is my favorite tank in the game at the moment. I'm sure it will change in the near future, but honestly, I do love the XM. And look, I mean, we still managed to bounce the 60 TP there from the side. Now, you're not going to bounce everything from the side because it hasn't got much side armor. It is all about the front. Now, of course, the lower plate is quite weak, so you do need to be careful, but some mediums still have to switch to their premium rounds to be able to penetrate you. So if you can hide your lower plate as much as possible, then you will be able to get bounces in this thing, and a lot of them. So we bounced over 1,000 damage now. We're only on 1,500 damage, but that can soon change. Like, even halfway through the game, there's 2 tanks left. 1,500 damage is not a lot at all. Now, the Death Star here saves my life. He literally just saved my life, which then allows me to get a few more shots into this 60 TP. So there's 1 shot, and we are going to get another shot into him, and we are actually going to high roll, and we do manage to take him out. So that's 1,500 damage straight away to 2,700, and it looks better. Let me know your 5 favorite tank destroyers in the game. But for now, hope you enjoyed the video. I'm Meadsy. I'll see you soon.